All right, I've been driving my 5-speed swapped S10 Blazer here for a couple weeks and it's working mint. I haven't seen a decent how-to video on 5-speed swapping one of these. There was one on YouTube, but it was pretty terrible. So this is going to be a step-by-step on all the steps it takes to convert one of these from a dead 4L60, well, even if you had one that was alive, that's pretty rare, to a 5-speed NV3500. And some of it will even work for if you're doing a T56 swap or whatever you want to put in one of these. The clutch pedal stuff and all that is going to be the same regardless. I have 5-speed swapped a few different kind of cars. This was by far the easiest. There's only one connector to wire for the reverse light switch, which you don't even need to wire if you don't want to. The neutral safety switch, already there's a plug for it. Master cylinder is really easy. The pedal pops right in. Like, transfer case is the same, drive shaft is the same, cross member is the same. It's a lot easier than a lot of other cars. I've also got a video where I tear apart the donor blazer, so I will link that here. And then this video starts off with the swap blazer. Okay, this part just pops out, which is extra easy when the tabs are broken off. Then you got 2 nuts there, 2 nuts here, and this whole console comes out. You also got to pinch the clips on this thing, pull it out, and unplug it. After exactly 18 7mm screws, you'll have all your hush panels and everything out of the way. And you can get to underneath. I'm pulling the seats out too so I can pull this carpet back to be able to cut my hole for the 5-speed. And when you look up here, you can see this is the clutch pedal wiring that's already here. Even though this is an auto. I don't know if you can see. Right there, you can see that hole is where the clutch master cylinder comes through. So we just gotta pop that out of the foam. There we go. So we pop that foam out of the way. There's the dimple for your clutch master cylinder. And you can see it on the firewall side too. And you can see here is the brake pedal all set up right here. And the bracket is already there for the clutch pedal, and it pops right in those holes. The clutch pedal turned into its own project for this. The factory uses plastic pivot pins that break. I mean, they're all 20-some years old at this point. So I made some out of steel, and I've also been selling them. People wanted pedals, and I got some out of the junkyard, but I sold more than I could find at the junkyard, so now I'm making them too. I'll link that video here. The whole dash would have to come out to change the brake pedal, so I just cut it off with a Sawzall, and once you put the pedal pad on it, you'd never know it wasn't factory looking. And those little spring-loaded pins for the clutch pedal, you can just push into place, and you've got no reason to pull the dash out at all. I pulled the dash on my parts blazer, and that was a pain in the balls, so avoiding that is nice. I've got to pull the cruise control out of the way, maybe even the ABS. I'm not sure. But, if I can move this wiring harness a little bit, there is the dimple for the clutch master cylinder. Right down in there. And I've got to get measurements for my other blazer. Right there is where we got to cut for the 5-speed. I don't know if we can use this stud or not. This console had 2. The 5-speed console has 1. That might be in the right spot, it might not. I'm gonna have to measure it and see. 4 10mm nuts here. And this comes off the steering column, and you can actually get to the auto shifter. Okay, you wanna sit right on the clutch?
What? You want to sit on the clutch?
Yep. Sit right on the clutch. Yep. Okay. Now you hold this and take a video while we drive inside. Like that. There you go. We got no coolant in this thing, so we gotta be fast.
Yeah, really fast.
Oh, come on, you hunk of junk.
Huckle jump.
There we go. Okay. Come on.
Wow! That got pulled me.
Uh-huh. This transmission's a piece of junk. That's why we're taking it out. Call it a 0L60.
0L60.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 4, but it's more like 0. Okay, we're in. I've got a little trick too on how to make a stock clutch hold more power. %69% more torque. Okay, new rear main in. Hopefully that doesn't leak anymore. New pilot bearing. Usually these are flush with the end of the crankshaft snout, but that protrudes quite a bit. And the ichrometer told me that probably wasn't going to work that way. And then my measurements told me that too. So I sunk this 5/8 of an inch into the pilot. Holy shit, that's heavy. So you remember we took this one out.
Yeah.
This one, look. Ah, it's like mom's car. It's got nothing. This one is the good one.
I'm trying to bring it.
Yep. Right in here.
Now all we have to do is just slide it down.
Well, we got to get it closer first.
Almost.
Give me a high five. Ah, her dirty hand made my hand dirty. Ew. All right, let's get into some of the wiring. This is the plug that goes to the 4L60. We're just going to ignore that completely, but you do have to plug in the VSS on the transfer case. Here is the reverse light switch and pigtail for the 5-speed. To wire that up, you're going to use the park neutral switch here, and that is pin C and F for pink and gray, which coincidentally matches up with the pigtail for the 5-speed part. Okay, I matched this up with the factory hole here. This is a 1 7/8. And you can see it's like the perfect size for the outside edge here. Okay, I drilled my pilot hole there. Now it's time for the hole dozer. You want to go a little bit at a time because you only want to get through the first layer. The second layer has that rectangle that the master cylinder pushes into. So I'm going to go little by little. There we go. Look at that. So, all right, the light's not the greatest, but you can see I got through the first layer, and the second layer behind it is that rectangle. Okay, looking good. I deburred it real quick. And now we have the moment of truth. Can I do this left-handed? Let's see. Come on, maybe not. Okay, the slave line is kind of a pain in the ass. You got to get it pointing back towards the firewall. But then once you do that, you can twist this thing in here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I saw in my other blazer that the screw holes for the shifter boot come right through here. So what I'm going to do is drill through here, install that shifter boot from the top side, drill the rest, then I'll know where to cut my hole. Okay, 3 holes.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, there they are. I'll zip it in and see what we get. All right, I ran regular screws in there because I didn't want to drill new holes. I wanted to go through the existing holes I drilled from underneath. And look at that. That fits like perfect, so I know we're good. Okay, I self-tapered the rest of these in. All the different screw holes. So now what I'm going to do is take a Sharpie on the inside and get a mark all the way around the bottom of this. And I'll plasma cut that out, and that will leave me room for that big foam like insulation piece that comes through on the 5-speed. Okay, just tried this, worked all right. So you're basically just running the Sharpie along at the edges. Let's see how it looks when it comes out. Okay, that worked pretty good. I'll go over that again so I can see it better with my plasma cutting glasses on. But that tells me where to cut. So, flipping this upside down and comparing the two, it looks like I actually need to go a little higher up here over this ridge when I cut that. Because you can see by like the dirt mark on there, that was actually even closer. I can go look at that factory hole right now too. Spot blazer's growing nicely. But here, this is definitely an original 5-speed blazer. And you can see the factory did a pretty horrible job. Leaves a little bit of that cross brace. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. I can do a better job than that on the next one. That looks like it's factory plasma cut. Okay, it's definitely sort of a weird shape that we're cutting out of here. It is funny though, because I know the beginning part of this generation S10 back in like 94, the shifter was actually ahead on the 5-speeds, and then 98 and newer, they moved the shifter back. So this weird floor stamping I guess, is just a side effect of where they changed the shifter to on the newer transmissions. It's kind of odd. Like when I 5-speed swapped my 94 half-ton Silverado, there was a stamping on the floor, right, kind of like this, that made it really easy to figure out where the shifter hole was. Not such a weird one like that. Okay, I forgot my plasma cutting glasses, the green ones. So let's see how the welding helmet goes. I'll just use my safety squints. Now you could also cut this with a regular angle grinder and a cutoff wheel. Just be careful of the sparks, because when I cut up my Beretta, I ended up with grind marks all over all the glass. So learn from me and don't do that. Okay, that looks pretty good. I guess I'll replace these with some shorter screws. That could be a problem. But the opening versus the boot looks pretty damn good all the way around. Okay, here's one of those things I could have half-assed, but I sort of did it right here. So I laid the console in place where it needed to be, lined up the mounting points back there, lined it up with the shifter hole, and then I drilled the hole for this mounting point, and then took a 5mm bolt to make it my stud so it matches the other stuff. Runs that same 10mm nut that way, and welded it in place, because if you try to do like a self-tapper or something from the top, the dash is right there and I can't really get to it, but this will be super easy this way. From the research I did, the truck will run with the automatic computer tune, but it throws a whole bunch of codes and the spark table is pretty terrible. It's pretty lazy, doesn't have a lot of ass down low. So what I did is I got a 5-speed computer, read the tune off of that. My donor also had a 5-speed tune that I could read. And I just flashed a factory 5-speed tune with my new VIN number and stuff to this truck, and it works great. There's two different styles. If you have an 0102 or an 0305 truck, send me your computer and I can flash the tune. Or if you want to do it yourself, there is an $80 flash tool that I've done. I've used for LS swaps and some other stuff. I have videos on that as well. I'll put the link up. Or if you want to send it to me, I can flash it and just send it back to you. Make it easy peasy.